acting erratically and it's affecting global capital.
I'll use myself as an example, and this might even come across as like conceited, man. Like we'll talk about my current job and my previous jobs.
Yeah.
Okay? So like, I'll talk about my previous life. Used to make music, had an entertainment company, would run shows. It was fucking sick. Had a great time. Needed a real job. I was buying a house,
right?
A mortgage, so I needed like proof of income.
Gotta have income. I gotta show the bank something.
So,
yeah, it's gotta be stable. Right?
I had a job washing golf carts.
Super cool.
While I was like, so I got free golf. Summer. Love golf. So I was like, free golf. Get this proof of income. Fuck it. Honestly, music, the shows, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good to me. This was like, let's get some free golf. Proof of income comes in. I fucking get the house. This guy, so it's like restaurant, pro shop, one building, different businesses.
Yeah.
Restaurant owner comes out and he's like, hey man, I'm the cart boy. Like, I'm just out there washing fucking golf carts. He's like, hey, all of the fucking like regulars that come here that play golf and then like eat at my restaurant have like, I've been asking if they know anyone that I should hire. Everyone is telling like, you need to hire that cart kid. Like, he is like the blah blah blah, very like social, so communicable, like all these different things, have these certain XYZ traits. I'm a cart guy, man. I like haven't had any serious jobs in my entire life. He's like, hey, I want you to manage my restaurant.
Crazy.
He's like, these people are telling me that you're like very social, you're this or that. Like, you can't teach that, but I can teach you how to do the rest of this stuff.
Yeah.
Hopped into this gig, man, making like $27 an hour salary plus
feeling
tips.
good,
Like,
right?
It was so sick, man, for a couple of years, right? No experience. That then opened the door for me, though, to apply to a sign shop, which I wound up running and was doing like, finishing, put it this way, finished a career doing the Memorial Cup $132,000 project, okay, which I manned and oversaw. Like, with a high school graduation, okay? Just because I can talk to people, just because I knew how to smile with people, okay? What I found, though, is what I'm trying to get at is I feel like if you're a socially aware person, man, if you can feel what someone is thinking about you, if you can walk into the room and immediately judge the ranking system, find out who's leading the show in this room right now, where can I slot in that's going to be beneficial, like, whether that be, like, making that guy laugh, getting that guy something, like, you're a grinder. I found that most people that are like socially aware, that are like in those pockets, are grinders, man, because they have to be. You have to be.
You make the opportunities happen, right? Like, in like, there's, because a lot of that really resonates kind of with where I came from, right? Like, I went to university and I spent 7 years in university, but I never finished. Right. Because when I was in school, I was studying accounting, and I decided, I'll get a part-time job at a bank, right? Like, because, hey, that'll look good on my resume when I go talk to KPMG or whomever in the future. Like, they'll like seeing that. Yeah. And, opportunities just started happening for me at the bank because, similar to like what you're saying, I was personable. I put myself out there. I read the room, and, opportunities just kept happening for me. So then, I moved into being a financial advisor. Then I moved into financial planning. Then I moved into wealth management. And I'm like, man, I'm a university dropout, for lack of a better term, right? But here I am, like, palling it up with, like, the wealth advisors of Kamloops, and because the soft skills, like what you're talking about, like being personable, being willing to talk to someone, being able to put yourself out there. You don't need to be necessarily extroverted for that. You just need to be able to know when to turn that on. Those are things that you can't teach, right? Like they're immutable skills that you either, kind of in my opinion, you either have it or you don't. And like learning finance, just like it was like managing a restaurant, for yourself, like I learned that. I can learn that. Now I work in technology. I didn't have any tech background or anything like that. But I had an opportunity to move to head office for the firm. And they're like, hey, Henry, do you want to work in technology, for wealth management? I'm like, yeah, that sounds interesting. I could probably figure it out. I figured out finance, I figured out portfolio management, I could probably figure this out, right? Doesn't come without its challenges, and I'll be the first person to say at work, like, hey, not the technical guy. I put my hand up right now. I say, I'm not the technical guy, but you know what I do know? I know the business. I know how we operate. I know how our advisors think, so I can tell you anything you need to know about that kind of stuff. And that's where I make, that's my nut, right? Like, that's how I make my living, is leaning on my business expertise. The technology stuff, I'm going to lean on our developers for that kind of stuff, because they can be the experts in that stuff, right? But, it's that willingness to put yourself out there. You kind of, there's so many people who I see that get trapped in careers, or trapped in jobs, or trapped in relationships, or whatever, right?
Trapped in their perspectives.
Totally,
and I think, again, though, that goes back to, I think being social is the key to almost every single aspect of our life, because you can all come back to what you just said, Dill. That is not possible without communication. None of this is possible, like you were talking about there, is about not being the tech guy, where people that don't have communication skills or the soft skills to be able to like for me, God, I'm thinking back to the restaurant. This was years ago, man. I was 21, I'm 28 now, so yep. It's hard to even remember it, but I remember going into this job. I never even worked in a restaurant before, ever in my entire life. I go in there, and there's a girl I knew from high school who had been working there for a number of years, and she was very good at her job.
Yeah.
And going to school for some high level things, this was a pit stop for her kind of thing, but she was very good at her job, right? I remember I showed up, and she was like, "Oh my God, what are you doing here?" And I was like, "Oh, I just got this job." She's like, "Nice. Are you serving? Are you bartending?" And I'm like, "No, I'm the new manager.
I'm running the joint."
And she's like, "Oh, where did you work before?" I was like, I was washing golf carts. And she had this look on her face, but I told her, given the situation, I read the room, people who aren't aware would maybe just be like, I got one over on this girl who's super educated and straight A's, was played whatever sports in high school, just the top dog kind of, or whatever you may want to say, and it's just some people might be like, oh, now I'm her boss, and it's just me. I looked at her and I was like, so I have no fucking clue what I'm doing, what a normal day-to-day even looks like, but I'm here for you. You have shit going on, you need something done, you need this or that, I think a managerial role, in my opinion, is not to sit back and just observe the team and be like, oh, it's working great. It's no, man, in my opinion, you work harder than everyone else, and it's my job was to in my head alleviate anything and everything that could possibly go wrong before it went wrong.
Remove obstacles.
And I'm the one bussing tables. It's well, that's the lowest job you can get at a restaurant. They hire buses and hosts and shit to do that, right? And it's no, man, I was the head manager, and I'm bussing the tables because my servers could give way better experience, way better of an experience to the customers, right? So going back to that, it's just having the communication skills to ask. Going back to the tech thing, it's just man, you have no clue with the tech. Nobody likes a bullshitter.
No.
Nobody likes a bullshitter. Everyone can smell bullshit a mile away. So it's you talk to a guy, and I'd rather have a guy be like, hey, I don't actually know what I'm doing. Let me get a hold of a guy that I know knows what he's doing, and then actually having that relationship to go to that guy and be like, yo, you ready? I've had you in my pocket all day, activating this card. And you're that's how, coming out.
Good business gets done, right?
That's how good business is done.
And I feel there's a lot of people, especially and I feel high school kind of trains us this way a little bit. That and it's kind of where I go with my criticisms of things like credentialism, right? Where it's if I just learn everything, or if I have all the pieces of paper, or all the letters behind my name, if I'm the expert in everything, then everything's just going to come to me, and it's all going to boom, 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 work out to the way I plan it to, right? And
totally.
That happens for some people, maybe. But I feel for most people, they kind of get out of that high school, especially if they were a keener, or they were that straight A, did all the sports, everything,
honors student.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Their whole life is, and they usually have helicopter parents who are creating this path for them, right? And they're okay, I'm on this path, and then all of a sudden an obstacle comes up, because life isn't free of those. Real life isn't free.
You can't study for real life.
No,
you gotta
and
experience it.
and then they kind of they become resentful, or they look back and they're like, I did everything right. How come I did everything right, and yet I'm not in that manager role, or I'm not where I think I'm supposed to be, or it's like, wait, there's too many variables. Like, you can't plan out every single variable. Like, you can't.
Can I add on from where you were actually just heading there before you leave it? So adding on, So I'm in school right now. I'm doing my Bachelor's of Science. My plan, I went back to school at 26, like late after everything. Ex-girlfriend and I split, sold the house. Just giving you the background.
Yeah.
We've never met before. By the way, let's introduce our guest.
Welcome to Garage Chats, episode 5,
Welcome
everybody.
to Garage Chats, episode 5.
We got Mr. Henry Davies joining us today.
Hey,
looking absolutely fresh.
Yeah, I'm feeling
fresh.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a little warm though. I'm gonna probably take this jacket off, but it's great to be here.
Yeah, man.
Let me open the door. We can get a little nature allowed in here.
Straight up.
You guys might hear a little noise outside, but you know what? That's all part of the garage experience.
That's it, baby.
Who doesn't enjoy that?
Yeah, Henry, where I was going with that. So, I went back. I came home. I never did good in school. Okay, like high school, C minuses. Played all the sports.
Yeah.
Got passed because I fucking needed to be on the team. You know, like wasn't ever the sickest, but I played all the sports, man. Like I was there. That's all I cared about. Sports, girls, chilling.
Just
with
out
the
of
boys,
curiosity, and I don't want to go off on a tangent, but what was your sport? Like, what was your main?
My favorite sport was hockey.
Okay.
Without a doubt, hockey. Played everything though, man. Like in my life, at least, I played soccer, baseball, rugby, lacrosse, football, hockey. That's about it. I'll draw.
Pretty good list right there. For sure.
Oh, did competitive trampoline as well.
There you go.
One of my Also archery. I was a national archer.
Super cool.
Yeah, love archery, man.
I like the tramp stuff too, because when growing up in Revelstoke,
You grew up in Revelstoke?
Yeah.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 31.
31. Do you know, Ninoy Tete?
I do.
It's one of my great friends, man.
They were,
Tete.
they went to, Ninoy is my brother's age.
Yeah. Who's your brother?
Logan Davis.
Okay, no.
That
would have been crazy.
And then Tete is my sister's age.
Who's your sister?
Arden Davis.
No.
But yeah, I didn't know them as well because I'm a little bit older than they were. But definitely my brother and my sister would hang out with them all the time. I remember running into who's doing the rap stuff. Is that
Teddy's rapping?
Tete.
Ninoy makes beats.
So it was one of them. I ran into them at the bar.
Yeah.
And this was and they were like, Henry, what's up? And I knew that they were they were, making, maybe it was Ninoy because they were making beats for Lil Durk or something like that.
Yeah, Ninoy makes beats.
Yeah, and I was like, man, that's so freaking cool. And he's and I was there for, I think it was my 10-year high school reunion, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm in Revy, and I see this, this strapping young man at the bar, and I'm like, man, in my memory, I still see you as the little
boys on sex, dude,
hanging out with my sister, the little dorks, right, running around, and I'm like, now I see this, strapping young man who's making a name for himself, making success for himself,
man. They're doing great.
And I'm just like, man, this fills me with even though I didn't know you super well, the amount of pride I feel. Is so
absolutely, man.
Cool.
So we. I love Revelstoke. Just the sidebar. We played the Revelstoke prom.
Oh yeah.
In 2019, I want to say.
Crazy, hell yeah.
Teddy, Ninoy, and I.
That's so sick, dude.
Pretty fun. Yeah, bro. It was a great time. We all started making music together.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like that. That's where it all started.
Super
we got
cool.
You ever watch that Vera Wang video with Teddy and Ninoy?
I don't think
with
so.
Lil Windex? No.
No, I'll have to check it out.
That's the boys, man. That's the boys.
Yeah,
that's BC history, man. Straight up.
I love it.
Potentially, it's in the archives. BC archives for sure.
That's dope as hell, though.
Ninoy went on. Shout out. Went on to do some pretty incredible things, man. Working with Meek Mill, Lil Durk.
Yeah, I was hearing like these
there's
names.
Tons of different guys, man. Too. Like I could list off. Like he's done really well for himself. Still doing really well for himself. I ran into him at the Canucks game like 2 months ago, month and a half ago, something like that. Shout out those boys.
Shout out Nino and Tete.
Yeah.
But I was saying, like, you know, the Tramp, like, when you grow up in a place like Revelstoke, I mean, what everybody does is you ski or snowboard.
Yeah.
You know? No, thank you. But, you know, so, and then what do you do if you do, no thanks. If, you know, ski hill's closed, you want to work on your freestyle stuff.
Yeah.
You go to the trampoline park. You know, and you try your backflips and your front flips and your cork nines or whatever, and you're like, okay, if I can kind of figure this out on the trampoline, I can maybe get close on my snowboard too, you know, like at least I can get what the feeling of doing this rotation is. Now it's way different when you got this snowboard strapped on underneath you, but you know, it really does help. So anyways, I know that was a bit of a tangent, but like trampoline stuff is
a great tangent, man.
Right? Like, you know, and that was my sport really growing up, was snowboarding. Like that was, you know, my parents tried to get me into the team stuff, and I just, it wasn't for me. I was always a little like individualistic that way. Like I found my group activity, you know, through music. Like, I was in a post-hardcore band. I was a singer, and like I learned how to scream before I learned how to sing, and like. You know, and so that's how I found that like group dynamic. But with athletics and sports, I was like, you know what, snowboarding, I can go by myself if I want to. Like I can like just, and when you live in a place like Revy and the ski hill it was 11 minutes for me leaving my house to strapping in my snowboard.
Huge. And
going down to the Gandhi. So like, you know, like it's right in your backyard, right? So it was hard for it not to be like all encompassing. And I'm like, this is cool. I feel like I'm doing something dope. Like I'm doing something athletic, but it didn't feel athletic, if that makes sense.
Totally.
Because you're like, oh, I'm just going to smoke a shit ton of weed. And like, I was a little asshole on the gondola because I had this... still can't remember where I got it, but I've had this like, it was like a little beaker, and then had like this little like straw thing that came out of the beaker, and I would like grab a bunch of snow off of my snowboard and like press it into the beaker, and it had a little bowl that stuck out, and I'd just be token up in the gondola with like families around and shit like that, and I'm sure they were not thrilled. Half the time they're like, oh, this fucking BC asshole. Like, you know, like just getting ripped, and I'd be getting ripped. They're like
just hacking.
I remember that. I fucking like, I used to ski growing up. Like skied all the way until my parents stopped buying the pass. You know? Like,
hell yeah.
This shit's expensive.
Dude, it's ludicrous.
So they have like the bubble chairs. I don't know if you have the gondolas.
Yeah, but at Peaks?
Yeah, the Peaks, they have the bubble chairs. So it's just like it's a regular chairlift, but you fucking toss a bubble down over it, bro.
Pretty easy to get things going, for sure.
Like 3 of your boys or 4 of your boys, because it's not like a gondola with 8 people. You just got 4 boys.
And this is before the weed pen. It's so easy now because you just have a weed pen.
A little wooden pipe. So no glass, so it would never break. You bring like an actual wooden pipe, got a Gandalf shit, dude, and like pull it out of the bag on the chairlift, rip it up, like I open it like 20 seconds before you hit the top. Like,
makes that chairlift go by so smooth.
Oh,
it does. Man. But there's nothing like the panic of being like, oh shit, we don't have everything put away, and we gotta offload like
5 seconds to fucking get off.
We gotta make sure those lifties, not that the lifties ever gave a shit, but like that they don't give a reason.
13-year-old head, you're tweaking.
You're like, man, they're gonna take my pass. Like, the police are gonna be here. I'm gonna see sirens taking me off the mountain. Like, you know,
they're gonna be in a body bag and drag me off this mountain. Like, so, like, where I was getting with this whole thing before we went on the tangent, which I loved.
Great tangent.
Had a chat with my university prof. So where I was getting at is cared about sports, didn't really give a fuck about grades.
Yeah.
University was not in the plans for me. Got out of high school, enlisted in the military, got in a crazy accident, got a brain injury, got medically discharged from the military, wound up with my dick in my hands at fucking 19.
Wondering, hey, what the fuck is next, right?
Exactly. Started making music and like doing this events company thing. Loved it. It was an amazing time, bro. We did great for ourselves with it. Like, COVID happened. Fucked us.
Yeah. Yeah, is everything ground to a halt, especially with that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, so then, like, yeah, I wound up doing the sign thing and the restaurant thing and whatever, and then, like, the ex and I sold the house, we moved home.
Yep.
I moved home, okay? So I'm in the basement suite. Tell my parents, I'm like, give me 6 months, you know? Like, I'm cooking. Like, I'm not gonna go and just, like, find some fucking job that's just gonna, you know, get me into an apartment that I can rent, like... And, like, thankfully, my parents, like, are in a position that, like, they were able to be like, yes, I support your decision here. This is a good idea. Like, you know, weren't, like, forcing me to, like, hop into the next available rental, which is, like, if
Totally.
they did, you know, they could have very well done that, man, and I would have to figure it out. Like,
Or even that they had the space for you to be able to, like, crash in, right?
Totally,
like,
man.
you know.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I'm very, very fortunate with that. I don't forget that. But, so just a part of the story. So, like, yeah, I come home, man. I'm like, tell them, give me 6 months, you know? Like, I'm going to figure this out. I need to find something that's going to stick. Like, I can't just go and get another job that I'm going to work for 2 years that's paying me well, but I can't, you know, like... There's
Where's
a
longevity
reason,
in that?
yeah, there's a reason that I'm like, you know, it doesn't require a degree or anything like that, because fucking no one wants to do it, you know, like, for an extended amount of time, like, whatever, like, what are my prospects, being, like, a car dealer or, like, a fucking realtor, and, like, no shame in those jobs, but for me, it's just not, like, it's not the ticket for, like, where I...
You gotta be passionate about those things or you're not gonna be
passionate, man.
successful anyways.
Yeah, and I know I'm also, it was interesting, like, I was 26, so I'm at, like, a pretty like young, but like that's a crucial like
It's a fork in the road moment,
right? Like I'm either gonna wind up doing shit like this for the rest of my life, or I'm gonna try and make something of myself. And,
Yeah,
like I've already tried making something of myself with music, you know, and like felt confident, felt like I did okay, and I was confident that I could still do whatever I fucking want to do. And like, man, when I was 6 years old, my mom worked at a vet clinic. And I used to go there after school, man, and go chill, and I was just like, like, I want to do this when I'm older.
Yeah.
And then I put up, like, C-minuses for 12 years in a row, and everyone was like, you're nuts. You can't fucking do that. Like, you know, like, you're retarded. Like, you can't, sorry, a crazy word to drop on the pod, but, like, you know what?
It's coming back into vogue.
You know what?
It's coming back.
It is back.
It is back.
It only took pure fascism to bring it back,
Yes.
but you know, we
Yes,
take
sir.
our victories where we can find them. If you
3
want to call that a
terms,
victory.
baby. Okay, that's crazy. That's crazy. You're saying retard. Alright, so that being said, school was like a bleak thing, but I just like had this moment where I was like, man, you know what? Fuck. I'm at home, 26. I've done some cool things, but
If you're interested in advertising on the Garage Chats podcast, please reach out to our team at garagechatspod@gmail.com. Thank you.
yeah, so kind.
There's nothing like having, you know, like,
Dude,
your
there's nothing
folks
like it.
around, and you know, like I'm so fortunate. Like it seems like you're in the same boat where like parents are still accessible. Like you have that deep relationship with them still, right?
Totally,
like and
man.
I think about that all the time, and I'm always like. My parents they moved from Revelstoke to Logan Lake, and I'm always like, man, they live so close, I should probably visit more. Like, you know, I should probably, I try and go up like once a month, but like I should probably get up there.
I felt that big when I went home for Christmas. Like my mom came with Toby and I and Sam to Mexico, and then we went to Terrace following that for like 8 days. And like I was there, and I'm like, being in Terrace for 8 days, I'm like, okay, 8 days was fucking long enough.
Yeah.
But like, you know, it's a nowhere town in the middle of nowhere. But like that feeling of like being with family, you know, we stayed at my mom's place, like we got our own room, we're waking up and someone's like, hey, what do you want for breakfast? And you're just like, whoa,
This got nice.
I'm the one who asked that at my house, you know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, man, having that connection is huge. And like, I think 2 things, right? So like, I think you appreciate it more when it's not your everyday.
100%.
And I think there's an age aspect to that. You know, like I'm 32 now. I'll be 33 at my birthday. And like, I think now as like a 30-year-old, I appreciate that time with my folks. Now, in part because it's so few and far between, but 2, just because like my life is different now.
Yeah.
You know, versus like I remember like I moved from Terrace like during my uni when I was 23. That was the last year that like I stopped going back to Terrace.
Right.
21, 22. Went back when I was 23, finished school. I just stayed in loops in between. And so like that was kind of like the last that was the major change in connection
right.
with that relationship.
I'm not going home to live here the summer anymore.
Home to live here.
Yeah.
Like, this is where I am now, right? And yeah, man, I think if you're in the spot where all you ever have done and are doing is living with your parents, it's like you just, your perspective becomes locked into that format.
Totally.
And you're like, and then, you know, you get into that position of like comparing yourself to, say, like friends of yours who are like, you know, having all these experiences, living on their own, having this ground being broken, and it's like, fuck, I'm still here with my folks, like blah, blah, you know what I mean? Versus now it's like having had that time away, having lived, you know, at this point now, like 23, I'll be 33, is like almost a decade.
Yeah. By
myself, with my wife, now with our son. Like, I appreciate that time with the folks so much more because it's different.
Well, with the age comes like a lot more perspective as well, right? Like you start to like, because as you become like an adult, you're not just like a shithead teenager anymore causing problems for them, right? Like now you're the playing field levels a little bit more, right? Where you're never going to be quote unquote peers because it's still a parent child relationship, but you're a little bit closer, and so you some of those guardrails come off. You see it with your parents. Your parents are I know it with my folks, like what they tell me now is far different from what they told me when I was a shithead teenager, let alone, you know, a kid, right? Like they were always really honest and truthful, but like they're not shielding anything anymore,
so that
right?
expose you to.
Yeah, you know, like they're a lot more candid, you know, in how they speak to you, and you are to them as well, usually, right? Like, and
can we take a second too to like appreciate how, at least in my experience, and I feel like a lot of people who are fortunate enough to have that experience, is how much parents actually like did a good job of like not exposing you to everything. Like, dude, like we look at it and we're like, now everyone's like, oh my god, like the world's so awful, everything's so bad, everything's this and that, or it's just like, are our parents just like not there anymore to like, you know, be like, hey, these are the set of values that we care about and our household cares about, and we don't really care about what goes on outside of this household.
I think it's a little bit of, and like,
now it's like boom, you're exposed to it all, so now we think that it's never been like this, but has it been like this the whole time?
Well, and part of it too is I think we had the luxury, you know, because we're all relatively close to the same age, right? Yeah. We had the luxury of not having the supercomputer in your pocket when we were growing up that beamed every piece of information always directly right into your noggin at any point in time, always, right? That was always on, that you're always connected to. And so, like, I feel for, like, you know, kids nowadays, right? Where, like, and even parents, to your point, who are trying to, like, you know, shield them, you know, from the world, and, you know, and that's a very, like, nurturing and protective thing to do, but that's got to be so much harder now.
Let's talk about this as well. Dillon, you're a parent.
Yeah.
How about when Sam's 12 years old and you try and tell him, you know, a wives' tale just to make him, or, you know, just a white lie, man, a good old-fashioned father's lie just to get him to do something, and he whips out
ChatGPT,
his fucking iPhone 41, and it was like, yo, chat, is my dad being sus?
Yeah, is he low-key full of shit?
And he looks you in the face, and chat's like, hey, Sam, big Riz dog. Hey, Riz
Goblin.
Hey, Rizzler. Hey, Rizzler, nice to chat with you again. Yeah, your dad's full of shit, dude. Here's what actually is going on. And you just have to sit there and take it. Because he knows chat is right.
It's going to be a different world.
There's no more just passing off a quick lie to your kids, man, unless you want to be brandished as fucking untrustworthy from the time that they're... I was on Club Penguin. I've never thought about that before. I was on Club Penguin at 7 years old.
Yeah.
So, like, I was on the internet at 7 years old. That means that most kids are going to be on fucking, like, deep, dude, by 7 years old.
They're
nowadays
really deep. Like, so, even like,
what are the implications of that? Sorry to just cut that.
No. But like, I manage like a group of like co-op students, right? And so they're generally like, you know, they were like 19 to 24, 25, right? Usually in that range, right? They're still in university. All of them are in Toronto because I'm based in Toronto for work. I just work from home. and even like talking to them about like how they grew up, and I'm like, that seems so foreign to me.
Yeah.
Like, it seems so foreign. And I was like, my dad, before he started his sales agency, worked kind of in tech, doing something very similar to what I was doing, but in telecommunications. So we were a pretty tech forward household. Like, I had a computer when I was fairly young. I remember it wasn't Club Penguin for me, it was RuneScape.
That's what I got blasting on there right now. My computer just died, actually, as we pointed at it.
That was my big one, was RuneScape.
Y'all remember Neopets?
Oh, fuck it. Yes, I love Neopets.
Webkins, dog?
You know,
Y'all fuck with Webkins?
I even feel like, or like, what was it? What was the messenger? MSN?
MSN!
Oh my god, bro. What is it? Chatterbot?
Oh,
You
fuck.
guys remember Chatterbot? I think it was, right? That was just the fucking robot you could hit up?
I don't remember
First
that.
AI, bro.
Oh,
the
no,
first
I
AI.
totally know what you're talking about.
The first
I totally
AI.
know what you're talking
no,
about.
am I not tripping?
Yeah,
The
and
first AI.
it was like kind of like Ash Jeeves or whatever.
I remember
and you would,
Ask
like,
Jeeves.
Yeah, but
Bro,
there was an earlier
I swear to
one.
God, it was called Chatterbot. And I
Okay,
might be
word.
wrong.
And it was really rudimentary. It
was on MSN.
Got almost everything wrong. Like, you could barely do anything. But it was kind of like the precursor to the world we're living in now.
I want to say so, yeah. 100%.
But I even feel like because the internet was like in this amorphous blob that was still being formed, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Is this no man's land, dude?
Dude,
it was the Wild West.
It was the wilderness, man.
But because of that,
It was the
wilderness,
wildy.
dude. You can't teleport out most of the
no, and there's aggro. Like, you know,
yeah, you cannot turn auto retaliate off. either.
Yeah,
Like, you click on
it's-
something, immediate action.
things
most of the
might go
time, like
awry, but at the same time, like, I feel like there weren't.
Frostwire and LimeWire.
The pitfalls were different, right? Like, I don't want to say they didn't exist, but like they were different. And whereas, like, I feel like now that we live in like the quote unquote established internet,
Yeah.
right? Like the pipelines are established, so you had to be like, if you wanted to really go out like deep in the wilderness at our, like, when we were young, you had to really go kind of looking for it. Right? Like, it was harder to stumble your way into. You kind of had to be a computer kid. You kind of had to XYZ, right?
Sure, okay. I was going to say, but I feel like, here's my argument to that, because I feel like as soon as you were a computer kid, holy fuck.
It was easy.
As soon as you knew how to navigate your way around a basic desktop, dude, the fucking devil was at your fingertips, man. Like, where now there's so many safeguards, man. iPhones are built in with shit that won't let you look at stuff. This and that. You have to be a real computer kid now.
At the same time,
to access the dark web, sorry to keep going, to access the dark web nowadays, like, you gotta get a VPN, you gotta download a browser, a new torrent or whatever. Like, I don't even know what that shit is. To fucking look at someone getting their head chopped off when I was a kid, bro.
Oh, like,
you just had
what
to
was it,
type
like
in
gore.com?
Nothing toxic.
Bestgore.com.
Totally, right?
And the homepage was a picture. Bro, I was fucked up. I remember. I used to show my friends this shit. I'd be like, yo, guys, come over. Like, I had the computer in the basement. Yeah. I was that kid with the computer in the basement.
I remember going to my friends who had the computer
Oh,
in the
yeah,
basement.
so I was the computer in the basement, man. I convinced my parents to get me a computer for Christmas. Well, obviously, it was not allowed to have in my room. I'm going to tell you a story about how I have a computer in the fucking room, dude, okay?
But sorry, just before we get into that, though,
Okay.
like, what I wanted to, like, say, though, is where I think, like, why I think you had to kind of, you had to know what you were doing a little bit more at our age. It's like, nowadays, isn't so much of that just on Instagram? Isn't so much of that just pipeline directly into Facebook?
Yeah.
Isn't it just like all like it's the normie? It's all of that stuff being normified. Like it's all just like it's everyone's consuming it now. So it's not like this niche thing that you'd have to go to a buddy or be the buddy in the basement with the computer who like you know. So like that's kind of where I think about it, right? Where it's like. Sure, there's safeguards, but do any of those safeguards work right now?
Fair enough.
Do any of them really work right now? Like,
or they just say that they're really there, you know? Like,
you know,
but
like,
or is there that much shit on the internet now that literally it's filtering out 99.9%?
There's really interesting.
And we still see so much of it.
Like articles and things that have come out around, like, you know, I pick on Facebook because they're easy to pick on, but
Fuck you, Zuck.
With the Zuck is, you know, he's maybe not the you know, Lucifer as someone like Peter Thiel would be, but he's pretty close.
Dude.
Like,
the Zuck's a motherfucker. He bought up so much land in Hawaii when it burnt up and put up an 80-foot fucking fence.
This is what these people do, but when you look at what comes out in terms of like the amount of stuff that they have their content moderators go through on Facebook, and they catch something like 3% of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you, like these people kind of came out, and they were kind of like whistleblowers. It was not a good look for.
That, dude. Yeah.
But yeah, they're like, yeah, we sit and we watch. Like all we see is like CP and people being killed and people with their heads being blown off, and you know, the most foul, horrible things in torrents after torrents and torrents and torrents of this stuff. Like it's never ending. And I'm like
we take this stuff home, man, like in our brains.
If they're catching 3% of it.
Yeah.
And that's what's on Facebook. It's not on gore.com anymore. That's what's on Facebook.
It's not the dark web. That's not XYZ.
This is what I mean, right? This is where I kind of go like, no wonder the kids are kind of fucked right now, you know? Like, you know, not that we weren't, and it's all relative, you know? It's all, you know, old man yells at cloud, time's a flat circle, right? But at the same time, it is a little, I do think about that, and I'm like, man, like because we've normalized all of that stuff into the internet, and it's all just pervasive now, you're gonna have, you know, Will Samwise gonna stumble into some shit in places you wouldn't think he would be stumbling into that shit, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Straight.
Man, well, for example, and then I'm going to tell you the story. And
Yeah.
Have I told that story on the pod yet?
No, man, I don't think.
Great. Okay, it's a perfect pod to tell it on, too. Great time.
Wait.
Before we get into that.
You and Kev?
No.
Frostwire?
No, me, full take.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
fucking, we're getting into this, dude, fucking YouTube Kids. There was a huge fucking thing about YouTube Kids, man. So there was just like, it was just like videos like Miss Rachel or whatever that are like 3 hours long. And you know, you plop your fucking kid in front of the TV and they watch it. Dude, and then it'd be like an hour and 16 minutes or something in, and it would just like switch. And it would be some fucking dude just like murking some person and then just like switch back to Miss Rachel. And like, these little 3-year-old, 2-year-old, 4-year-old kids are just getting exposed to that for like brief seconds and don't even know what it is because there's some fucking psychopath out there posting this, and it gets through the content moderators because they're not going to sit there and stream 3 hours of fucking Miss Rachel, dude. Yeah. Like, pops up, kids are getting exposed to it.
Toby told me
being in weird places.
Toby told me a story about this. I've never actually found a video, and this is from like a mom was sharing this on like a post that she watched. So like, take from that what you will, but in this mom's story, she was basically like, her kid came to her like crying one day, and it's just like, Mom, like, I don't want to have to do it. She's like, what? Like, what do you mean? And this kid's like, I don't want to have to kill you.
Oh, this is liberal propaganda.
Is it?
I'm just kidding. I'm just waiting for my moment.
Because the shit sounded wild, bro. But basically this, and Mom's like, what? Like, what do you mean? So this kid had been watching this video on YouTube. That's this guy who makes like, you know, animated whatever little like things. And then in one of like the stories, as the mom tells it, he's literally like, and when you're this old, remember, like, you're going to have to go kill your mom.
Oh.
And so this kid's literally, he's watching this. And he goes to his mom crying, being like, I don't want to kill you. And it's like...
Yeah, give me shivers. The silliest thing, creepypasta.
You know, pretty much a creepy...
You know?
When I heard that, I was like, yeah, it's like creepypasta territory.
But no,
again,
that's
man,
crazy. I believe it, though.
Like, there's some wild, just...
anything you can think of is...
psycho out there, man.
That's
doing
the
some
thing.
crazy
Anything
shit.
you can think of has been done.
And this is where, like, you know... But on the flip side, too, kind of, like, to even counter, like, to go back to, like, what we were exposed to as a kid. You know what I was watching the other day? And I'm kind of like... Man, no wonder we grew up a little fucked up too. I was watching Happy Tree Friends.
Oh, insane,
you know,
man.
and I'm
I
like,
wasn't a Happy Tree Friends kid, but my buddy was.
I was a Happy Tree Friends kid.
You were fucked up.
I was fucked up. I was definitely fucked up.
I know who you were. You exposed your fucking self.
I remember being like in Squamish, so that
I
means
got my eye on you,
I was under 13, so I had to be like 10, 11, 12, and I remember like my friend Owen showed me this show called Happy Tree Friends, and
it was just the best thing you've ever seen.
The best thing I'd ever seen.
These cute little animals just getting gored.
Laughing my ass off the entire time, thinking it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. And I remember like showing it to my parents. And my parents being like, what in the fuck are you? And my parents are like really liberal, like, you know, like they gave us a lot of freedom, but they were like, what are you like what the fuck is this?
The devil is in Squamish.
The devil is in Squamish. The devil is making cute little cartoon characters do horrific gore porn to each other.
Bro,
like,
I was a fucked up kid, and I remember watching that. I saw like 3 episodes with my fucked up buddy, and I remember it clicked in my head, and I was like, dude, I'm gonna fucking be like this kid if I keep
this
watching
is wrong.
this.
There's something wrong here.
I see fucked up shit. I was like, nah, this is where I draw the fucking line. Dude. It was Happy Tree Friends. And I don't know, my 9-year-old self was like, this shit's a little too much.
See, I didn't have that, and it explains so much of the rest of my life. Like, you know, like, I'm like, oh man, I'm really into true crime. I wonder why. Like, you know, like, you know, probably because I was watching, you know, horrible cartoons murder each other when I was a kid.
I think too, it's like the internet through its ages, the type of engagement that people made with it was representative of its stage of development.
Totally.
Like you mentioned earlier, like we're now kind of in what you could call like the established age of it, right? Like all the territories have been found, they've been divided, you know, there's a flag on each one. But like I remember in the early days, it's like, do you guys remember YouTube before Google bought it?
Yeah.
Like
I do.
YouTube circa like 2008.
Fred?
You know?
Shit.
You guys remember Fred?
Early Smosh?
Early Smosh, yeah.
Smosh.
Yeah.
You don't remember Fred.
I remember Fred. I remember hating Fred. His voice, like, I just couldn't. My sister was really into Fred.
I
was like
remember
8 when I
watching,
got
like-
Fred, and I was like, this guy's fucking great.
Like old school like flash animations and shit on YouTube. Like funny things are like people posting just like random videos of
The
like
end of the world.
their cats or like just some random shit.
End
or,
of
like,
the world.
The end of the
Yeah.
world. Or you know what the big one for me was? Linkin Park dub over Bleach
bro.
fight, or
the
like
old AMVs.
yeah, the old anime music videos of like Avenged Sevenfold, Unholy Confessions to Bleach fighting or Ichigo fighting fucking, you know,
Bro.
going through the Soul Society.
I
being
remember-
like, this is the sickest shit I've ever
I
seen.
remember Pixo. It was like an era. It's like you could make your own website on it.
I remember Pixo.
Pixo.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Dude, my Pixo page was literally just like 50 AMVs.
Is it kind of like Angel Fire or like?
I'm not familiar, but
It
it's
was
like
it was like make your own website.
Make your own
Yeah,
website.
similar to like Angel Fire. Then yeah.
it was like
It's
a
like that you could add like music to it. You
Yeah,
could add, like
yeah,
a moving
Music,
background.
We're at
You could add,
MySpace.
MySpace. You could add like a. It was
Yeah.
before MySpace. You could add like a comment board so people could like
Yeah.
comment on it. And
Hell
shit.
yeah.
Like it was
like
sick.
guerrilla social media.
Guerrilla
almost.
social media. Dude.
Yeah.
It was big though. Like that was a good site, man.
But like the internet it used to be weird. And it's like not in a way where it was like potentially outwardly damaging in the way that it is now, where
No
there's
one was
just
making money.
so much crazy content. It wasn't monetized yet.
Yeah.
It was just
creators
this.
weren't making money like that.
Yeah, it was just
That's
this
why.
like no man's land, and it's like the people that engaged with that and like created what would be like the first internet content and like the internet culture that was connected to that content, like the forum boards before there was ever
Oh my
things
God,
like
yeah.
you know like. Oh, I'm into this niche thing. Boom, there's a forum where you can talk about that niche thing.
Yeah.
I'm on
You know?
bodybuilders.com talking about, you know,
Fucking getting ripped.
is there 6 days in the week or 7 days in the week? It's like a famous
the
like
RuneScape forum used to go crazy.
Dude, it was
back in
nuts.
the day. Like Just RuneScape in general, man. That was my thing. I used to
Just trying to find black armor with gold. Gold trim.
Black.
Like,
I'll trim it for you, bro.
Oh hell
Yeah.
Give me your fucking black armor. I'll trim it.
Yeah. You know,
50K, bro.
exactly. I'll trade it to you and never hear from you ever again. And I'm like, fuck. There goes my
Bro,
black armor.
I still remember getting burned with my myth armor doing that.
Yeah.
Grinded out so hard on free account, got myth armor, and some guy's like, bro, you want me to trim it? I was like, what's trimming? He's like, bro, 20K and I'll show you.
Oh,
Here, trade me
God.
the armor. And I just remember he logged out, and like, I'm like 12.
Yeah.
I remember just waiting in that spot for a bit. I'm trying to like add him as a friend. I'm like, hey bro, where'd you go?
I genuinely
And
think...
it sunk in. I remember just like the next day I was like,
Oh my god, he
like,
scammed me.
I just got scammed. But bro, being exposed to that shit at that age,
So it's formative,
no one
right?
in our age,
So-
one in our age demographic is getting fucking phone scammed.
Yeah,
Because they all got
exactly.
trim scammed at 12 years old.
Exactly.
Dude. Like,
So I'm gonna hop the floor here. It's perfect. When I was 12, I moved to the basement, convinced my parents to move my computer into my room.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's a big step.
big step. Okay, fuck, dude. I was a motherfucker on my computer. Okay, like, I'm talking, like, creating accounts on Facebook and just, like, trolling some random person I find, hopping on YouTube, dude, and just, like, commenting, like, you suck under every video. Like, you know,
a
like,
terrorist.
I was a terrorist. Now, put that into RuneScape, dude. I was a motherfucking terrorist, dude. My brother's 5 years older, so he had, like, a little bit of street smarts and could, like, put it into the game where I was just, like, willing to do anything. You know? Like, I just saw the opportunities, man. We were like making accounts being like mod something, number this. We'd like message players and be like, hey, we need access to your account. Like, this and this and that, you know? They'd give it to you, bro, and like we just fucking clear them out, bro. Like, you know, like savage shit. Trading boys being like, yo, here's a full set of like Guthins. It was like a Guffin spear.
Yeah.
7 mil, dude. It'd be like an 8-9 mil transaction. The spear's worth 7 mil. You know, put it all up there. Time it to where they're about to accept. Quickly remove one, add the leaf blade spear, which is worth like $200. Bro, they accept that bitch, bang bang, log out, quick, I'm out, bro. Yeah. So I used to fucking steal from people, dude, okay? So like straight up was a criminal online. Now, I used to play like private servers too. Like, was heavy on private servers. And again, it goes back to like you being a computer kid, man.
Yeah.
Like when I was 12 years old, man, 11 years old, I'm on deep forums, bro. Fucking downloading files on these forums that are like carbon copies of RuneScape, man, with hundreds of people accessing them, or like maybe like 30 people. You can like, you download this, man, you extract files, you gotta like open certain shit, like run like commands to like open this fucking program. Like 11, 12 years old, I'm running. I couldn't even do that now, honest to God.
And it was like, a time where like, this is where I say, like, you kind of, you needed to know a little bit about what you were doing, right?
Yeah,
like, you needed to, like, where, like, now you can just kind of, you're pipelined into everything. At that time, you needed to know I need to go to a forum, and I need to know what forum I'm going to get the info to be able to do this, because it's not as
downloading
obvious.
how many things and getting how many viruses, trying to get the right program to
how
do
many
the right
brick
shit.
laptops,
like,
you know, like my parents.
Brick
Like,
computer,
but now
for sure.
leading into that, the levels to it, man. Even in the early game of the internet, the fucking levels, dude. The absolute Trojans that were walking around, man, that you just had no fucking clue, dude. The whale sharks that were out there. Of early internet, dude. Whale sharks, man, just coasting through the fucking deep, man. I ran into one on one of these private servers, dude. I used to PK, right?
Yeah.
I was fucking some guy up, man. Like, I don't know if it was a specific guy or not, but this guy was like known to be like kind of sketch on the game. People would be like, oh, he's a hacker, this or that, like whatever. I was just fucking him up. Like one day ragdolling him, and I was making like videos and shit, like posting them on YouTube, like making PK montages and shit, bro. And I
freeze.
Like, yeah, exactly. So like hybriding and shit. So like mage, like freezing this guy, hitting him with fucking D-claws, ranging him, fucking freezing him again, like literally dancing on him.
Just straight
dude.
hater
Like,
shit.
Yeah, like freezing him and standing on him and being like, you're a bitch, dude.
Yeah.
Like log out, never come back. Like I own this wilderness, bro. Like get out, you know. And this guy was been around for a while, bro. On the server. I just pulled up, maybe like a couple weeks. Fuck, dude. One night, I'm sleeping. School night, dude. It's like, fuck, 2 a.m, bro. Like, dead asleep. I don't know. Random night. Just random fucking weeknight. Boom. I wake up, dude. My fucking computer is blasting and, like, on a video of a dude getting fucked in the ass. Jesus. And his dick swinging like, in a circle.
The helicopter.
Old, you spin my head. Bro, like, okay, so get that. So I, like, panic, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck was I on? You know, like, I was like, was I fucking around? Like, what is happening?
Well, you're disoriented.
Disoriented. I'm fucking 12, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe it's been, like, my first 5 times seeing someone get fucked in the ass.
Yeah.
Like, just seeing fucked shit, you know? Like, I'm like, holy. I go to hit X. I click the red X, man. The tab bounces. Another one opens up. The audio doesn't fucking layer. It duplicates, man. Or it layers. So it's like 2 audio tracks playing. Now it's like twice as loud for, like, I don't know, man. Shit used to not have, like, that classic built-in fucking, limiters, bro.
Yeah.
It's fucking so loud, dude. I'm like, fuck. X, bro. I'm like, just another tab. I'm tweaking, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's so fucking loud. I hear footsteps upstairs. I'm like, shit.
Like, I'm really fucked now.
I'm really fucked, bro. Like, my lights on. Like, immediately. They were, like, running downstairs, bro.
Yeah.
Like, lights, they don't know. They just hear fucking commotion, bro. I, like, stumbled out of my bed, tipped my chair over and shit. Like, I'm panicking, dude. Like, fuck. My parents come in my room. There's dicks and asses.
What a sight to behold.
There's fucking people getting fucked everywhere, dude. And I'm just like on the floor in my underwear.
And you're probably like
white as a ghost.
Be a pure panic, right?
Like, panic. My stepdad, bit of an older guy, he's like, what the fuck? Like, I knew we shouldn't have let him have his fucking computer in here. My mom is tweaking. She's like, what the fuck? The devil is in Kamloops, baby.
Like, you think you're disoriented. Imagine coming down to your kid's bedroom.
New, dude.
Yeah. And you know, and
within 10 years, we've had a first computer ever. So continue. Like,
and I was like, unless your parents were like techie people, it's not like they have a good understanding of
low-key might have been
someone.
The only computer in the house.
Yeah,
like, low key. Like
they don't have a. It's like my mom was this way with computers, techno peasant, right?
Yeah,
like she never understood it, right?
Yeah.
But like, she wouldn't know. Like, it'd be pure confusion and shock and terror. Like, everything is layered on top of it.
child.
What do you do?
Ron comes in, he's just like, this is kind of fucking shit you do on here.
That was pretty much the reaction. So anyways, man. So I had like a webcam and shit, right?
Yeah.
So like I'm telling my parents, I'm like, I can't fucking close it. Like, this shit just turned on. I don't know what the fuck's happening. My parents don't believe shit I'm saying. They're like, you're doing some fucked up shit.
Yeah. What are you looking at
They're
on
like,
here?
get it the fuck off the computer. Like, they know you hit the red X, it closes, so they start doing it. Starts bouncing. Bro, the notepad pops up on the screen, like the app. Hi, Marsha. My mom's name. Smiley face. She like stops.
This guy dossed you, man.
She's like, Joey, what are you doing? And this guy's like, I can see you guys. Nice pink sleeve, like nightgown or something. My mom's wearing this nightie, right? My mom's like, what the fuck? My stepdad's like, where's this fucking guy?
Kill him right now.
So I'm like, dude, I'm tweaking. Like, I'm like, what do you want? Like, I'm like, looking at the fucking thing. I'm like, what do you want, man? He's like, you fucking think you're like all this, whatever. He's like, you fucking are just. He's like, yeah, you're fucking a little 12-year-old piece of shit. Like, look at you, you fucking tweaking, right? Like.
You thought you were teabagging on me. I'm really teabagging on you.
I think it was this guy, right? So, like, it very well, dude, I was in every corner of the goddamn internet at the time.
Yeah.
Like, it could have very well been anyone else, but, like, this was vicious, man. So, like, but he's like, yeah, you want me to stop, like, hit me with, like, your credit card info, like, all this shit. Like, he's like, I've already got your address. Like, here's your fucking, like, laid it out, man. Like, all my info, my mom's info, like, all the shit I'd ever put in there. Like, fuck, man, like, parents call the cops. they're like, someone's fucking like on the computer. Like, they're like,
and the police are like probably like, what?
It's like 2008, 2009. They're like, what the fuck? Like, turn it off.
Unplug it.
Unplug it out. Oh, bro, the speakers and everyone who says that, like, why don't you just turn the speakers, bro? So I manually turned the knob down on the speakers, bro, and didn't turn the music off. I don't know how the fuck this guy had that much control over my goddamn computer, but I couldn't turn the volume off. Like, you know how those old speakers?
Yeah.
It didn't work.
That's
like, he was fully on full takeover of my computer.
But these, you know, the people who were like, and I'd say, like, based on the conversation, we were all fairly techie kids, right?
Yeah,
like,
I thought I was.
I thought I was
ran into
too,
that
right?
Whale, dude.
You know,
and that
but
scared me.
There are people, and that's then. Think about what those people are now with what they can
Maybe
do
in prison, dude.
Now.
Potentially in prison. Are you talking like that generation's?
They all work for the fucking FBI now.
Yeah,
like I think about that shit, bro. And I'm like,
they all work
the guy
for them
who did
now.
that, man, back then. This isn't like I want to do. This is before every continent had a flag on it on the internet, bro. Like there was ships rolling around, bro. Like if you want to look at it, like you said, like you look at there was like the like messaging, friends, network connection, Facebook, bang, planted that fucking flag, dude.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's just like, trendy, like keep up with my life only, Instagram, bang, planted the flag.
Yeah.
Watch videos, YouTube, planted the flag,
Fuck,
like
LimeWire, I want a Linkin Park album,
Yeah,
boom.
Bro, I was a big pirate back in the day, bro.
Yeah, man.
Music,
But that's the
movies,
thing.
games, I
we call
fucking
it-
had a lane on
We
everything.
call it pirates for a reason, man, because we were backdoor cruising the ocean of the
course.
internet, man, right? And like, we're talking about the Blackbeards, man, like the fucking whales, dude. Like you said, where are they now? What is that equivalent of like 2000, 2008, 2009 guy who took over my computer then?
Yeah.
Who was a legitimate fucking like monster.
Yeah.
Like huge levels to this shit, man. I thought I was sick, bro. What I was doing at 12, ripping private servers, downloading all this shit, getting backdoored into like these fucking weird fucking games, like thought I was a nerd. I got fucking worked by some guy.
The people,
right? Like
who those people are now.
What's that equivalent now? What are these? What is that? Would that
they're
be
the
like,
people who are doing these like massive DDoS operations against like firms that like I work for, or Desjardins, or like, and are just like
taking companies hostage.
Yeah. Okay. I want
You want your website
30
back?
mil
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Or
You want your servers back?
or
30 mil.
we're releasing all of your clients' information to
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
And
All
then
your competitors,
And then you get the
all
email
fucking-
being like,
fun.
there was an information leak.
Yeah.
I tell you, like, because I work for the largest wealth management firm in Canada. A podcast, I'm not going to say explicitly
Of course,
who,
of
but
course.
It's a
the
big
amount of training that they do, like on a near daily basis, we have simulated phishing emails
hostage
that come
negotiation
in.
training.
Yeah, they spend a lot of time with us being like, you don't open fucking anything unless you know it's from like internal source or from a client, and you know that client was sending you something, and it's got to be something like a PDF file, because they're like we have access to so much data and access to so much just pure wealth because we're in financial services. Like, the amount of money we spend on cybersecurity is staggering, but we have to keep spending more and more and more and more and more money because the people on the other side of that equation
keeps going up and up and up and up and up.
and they're more and more sophisticated. AI, I'm sure, is going to play more and more of a role.
I got a story about
like,
that.
How do you, now you can use AI to supercharge operations like that, right? And it takes a human element away, so how can you use that then to shield the perpetrators even further, because you're creating layers upon layers upon layers behind that person who's doing all of this, right? Like, it's really like it's serious stuff, because again, on a near daily basis I get like some email, and they're even the simulated ones, they're really good at trying to like catch us, right? And it's a big deal if you fuck it up, too.
Oh,
Because it's
man.
like, they come down on you being like, this was simulated, but you fucked it up. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
So
it's not
there's
good.
also legal avenues with that kind of thing too, which I've done. So get this, like I've worked in different industries. I've also like consulted for different people and like just like different areas, man. And like something that's like really prevalent in one area that I did, well, it wasn't. I feel like I've made it prevalent. Was like pricing was super competitive in this industry, the industry that I'm talking about. Like across the board, it would come
Right.
down to like cents sometimes
Yeah.
because of the quantities that were being ordered on things. Man, how easy it is to like get someone's pricing. How easy it is to like get someone's to clean someone out completely on their intellectual property essentially. Man, so like if like say I'm consulting for a company, redoing an entire price list on a company for like the year or whatever, it's like, man, I have Google accounts created for like different industries. You hop on Canva, man, or AI. Oh my God! You even ask ChatGPT, "Hey, make me a logo for a company," or you don't even need to do that. You can say, "Hey, Chat, I'm looking to start a company in this industry.
Yeah.
Give me a really solid professional name. Make sure like no one else has it in this location." Like in this region, no one else has
Something
this.
very believable.
Something very
yeah.
believable. Give me like a first name, a last name. Give me a job title. Give me like a believable backstory and a project that I might be running that would require like pricing on all of these different kinds of materials, and like let's run it, man.
Let's
like,
do some arbitrage plays,
yeah,
right?
Like you reach out to these companies with these, and it's like, man, I have a professional logo. I have like a fully professional, and like you're reaching out to companies that are like, again, like serious companies. They're moving quick. Like not all of their guys are stopping and like looking into this being, because it might just be like a $3,000 or $4,000 deal, and that like in the industry I was in, and like and these industries that I'm doing this in, it's like $5,000, man. Like you're not really batting an eye at that kind of shit, man.
No.
You're like, oh, like new client, great, like fire him in. Hopefully,
Hey, here we go.
they
Oh, yeah.
do this 10 more times. You know, like that'd be sick. So it's like, you get lucky on like you reach out to 15 different companies across the region, dude. 8 or 9 of them are like hitting you back without even asking you questions, being like, yep, here's all of our pricing, and like you're specifically asking at like, hey, I need them at this size and at this size, like at the short end and at the high end, and then like the short end of quantities, the high end of quantities, and then like you can easily fill in the fucking blanks, man. Or you go like short, middle, high, and then it's like cool, bang, bang, bang. You can fill in the blanks, kind of find out. If they're pricing it like this much for this and this much for the halfway mark and that much for that mark, you can find out the multipliers they're using.
Totally.
And then be like, give me the multipliers for these quantities as well.
Math
Again,
is
you
usually pretty easy on that stuff.
yeah, again, even if you're not mathematically inclined, you can just throw that into ChatGPT. You can steal intellectual property legally with ChatGPT in like the whole process 15 minutes.
Totally.
And if you want to not get marked as spam, man, you just send internal emails across all of the companies that you have created emails for.
Yeah.
Not spam, not spam, not spam, and your companies, all of these are active. This is a 30-minute process, 45-minute process for anyone consulting for any companies that wants to just immediately get pricing on companies without reaching out, phone calls, cold calling on things. It's just, again, it's just insane, dude. Like, and that's just legal. That's the legal aspect of it. It's just generating a false lead.
It's so like, on that note of this kind of rapidly changing environment in this new like AI age that we're in, you guys are aware of what vibe coding is?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Not a clue.
So vibe coding is this like namesake that's been attached to people using AI models to essentially generate computer code. Okay. So like shit as basic as like do this process for me, or as complex as like
build this app,
build a game for me, build an app for me that does this.
Saw a guy on Reddit who talks about how he got a job just doing that.
Using prompts in an AI model to generate code that does a purpose, okay?
Yeah.
Without you actually having to write the code.
Right.
Okay?
Python.
Sure.
Yeah.
We just witnessed in the last I think it was last month or like just prior to that, the first ever vibe coding cyber attack on the US. So this guy used this program called Claude.
Yeah.
Publicly available.
Yeah.
With 5 prompts, convinced Claude that it was a cybersecurity program and it was being tested to try and do this process as a means of like showcasing its defense capability as this security program, got into some like, I was watching a video on it the other day, got into these like US files in these companies, just like cruised in like bang, 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 bang. All these alarms are going off in this company being like, someone is accessing this shit. They start to look into it. It's this vibe coding program, Claude, that this person did with like 5 prompts.
Was that when Cloudflare went down? Was that related?
Oh, I wouldn't know. I only watched like the first half of it.
Yeah.
He could have tied it up with that, but like he was basically talking about it, how like we now live in an era where someone who's not a cybersecurity sleuth can use a resource that's publicly available to essentially initiate what would be like a high-scale hacking attempt 10 years ago.
It's a terrorist attack is really what it is, right?
Yeah.
And the interesting part about it is, so like at work, like part of what I do at work is, you know, and I don't have, and I'm not, you know, but I work with AI. Like I part of the technology I work on is some AI projects. It's a small part of what I do, but you know, there are a few AI projects that I'm working on, and it's really interesting. And I'm by no means like an anti-AI.
I have a hopeful topic for AI after this, but I want you to finish yours.
Yeah, I'm very, very like AI skeptical on a number of fronts. Now, something like that, what you just described, if what you're trying to do is create pure chaos, that's like my big fear, because really, really good at that. It's really, really, really good. If you don't really care about the outcome other than I want to fuck shit up, yeah, perfect tool for that. Now, one of the problems, because everyone is like, you know, and for very valid reasons, it's like, what does this mean for my future employment?
Sure.
Right? Huge in the business world, huge in the finance world, anything other than like trades. But hey, if you think you're in the trades and you're immune, you're not.
Yeah.
You know, but they're like, what does this mean? And this is where I'm like both skeptical of the technology and a bit optimistic of our future. It's not that good.
It's not that good.
It's not that good. Like, so when you're seeing with vibe coding, right? A number of these companies, not us, we hire developers because we're, you know, we care about our end product a lot, and we can't take those kinds of risks that small firms can, or anything. But what, you know, from just things that I hear in the industry and just in tech in general, so a lot of these companies have hired. They fired all their developers. They're like, fuck that. Why have 10 developers building my app or whatever? I can have one guy vibe coding and it's going to cost me one guy. Or maybe it's me as the founder and I'll just vibe code everything and then I get the lion's share of everything. And I'll get AI to do it all. Now the problem is the outputs aren't that great.
Yep.
And so what's ended up happening a lot of the time now is now these companies are having to hire and spend a lot more money on bringing in actual developers to come in and fix all the bullshit in this vibe code and save the day, because they're like, Jesus, what the, like this, it doesn't make any sense. The fundamental problem, because most of these, and AI is a big topic, and people hear AI and they think ChatGPT, and that's fair if you don't really, you know, if all you hear is AI, ChatGPT, but AI is a very broad topic. It's like saying finance. Well, okay, finance is a very broad topic. Financial planning, we start narrowing things down, you know. Most of what we think about AI is these LLMs, these large language models, right? And a fundamental issue with large language models, and it's one they haven't been able to solve, the real question of the hour is, will they ever be able to solve it? And I'm not optimistic they will, is hallucination, right? The models fundamentally and how they operate, if you're prompting it to give you something, it has to give you something. And so even if it can't pull something together, it will just create something. It will just generate bullshit for you, right? And so that's one of the fundamental flaws, is you're seeing it in the code that it generates, you're seeing it in There was, hilariously, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. put out like a big research paper, and there were all these sources that were cited, to make health policy in the United States, and like half of those sources were just completely made. Obviously he used AI to put this whole thing together, and like half of those sources, it's not even that they were misquoted or misconstrued, they just did not exist, period. They were just made up because whatever AI prompting he was doing just pulled in bullshit, because it needs to, if you're asking it to do something,
it's to satisfy the request.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And it's a fundamental flaw. Now, this is where I say, like, there are other areas in AI, like machine learning is very, very interesting, and there's really cool practical applications. What it can do in areas like medicine, I think, is really, really interesting too. Diagnostic imaging. But I'm a little, the kind of moral of all of this is it's making me a little more hopeful that the bullshit, if we're being honest, the bullshit that the Sam Altmans or the Zuckerbergs or can't remember the NVIDIA guy's name off the top of my head.
Jensen Huang.
Yeah, that they're selling us that all your guys' jobs are going to be gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, until it can actually do a good job, which I work with this technology. It's not there. We're far away from it.
I wonder if these guys have access to stuff that we don't. Because you look at the AI that's coming out of the military sector right now.
I'm in military angle.
You've been waiting to chime in. Give me 10 seconds.
Do it.
Floor
No, do it.
I saw a video the other day about this new fucking, and I'm sure, so here's the thing about the military. Anything that's been declassified, we're fucking 25 years ahead.
Always.
Right? So like, the U.S. military declassified this new AI vision or whatever they want to call it, and it's like an effective cost effective, like every infantryman is going to be equipped with these things. Trump is saying by like 2030. I did finger quotes just in case no one actually saw that. Bro, it was like showing it, and it's like in real time. You can like mark a guy. Say you were like in close quarters, you see someone, bang, your glasses pick up on him, bang. He goes behind a wall. Yeah. It tracks him behind the wall, man, and then he pops out, and he's still lit up. Like bang. He's like you can fucking you can like just like Call of Duty, man. You can set like a beacon. Like you can be like bang right like there, like
tag that boy.
No, like tag that like rendezvous. Like I'm gonna put a huge green fucking beacon that's a fucking kilometer tall, bright green. None of these boys can miss it. All my team gets streamed to the same thing. Like,
UAV incoming,
bing,
right?
Like, or like no, it's just like hitting LB. Like I'm pinging a location. Like here, bing. Like let's rendezvous on that spot. Like everyone that's in a kilometer distance that's wearing your team's goggles is like, yo, that green beacon is like right there. We can see it. Airstrikes, air support. It's gonna be like a video game now, man. Like that house. Yeah. Big red fucking beacon on it. Like everyone can see it, man. Like so AI, that's the one that they've just declassified that exists. So it's like, man, what the fuck? That is way more accurate than like these language models and like the mechanical things that are happening. Like we say, they don't work yet to take our jobs. Totally. But the stuff the military is using is accurate enough to track humans through walls and shit. Like so, I don't think it's far off. Kind of what these guys are saying.
I kind of have two sides of this.
And then Dill.
The first side is always be skeptical of what like the military is also showing you. Yeah, because so they're putting that out there. It's marketing as well, right? Like
China's looking at that, being like, "Holy fuck, are we 100 years behind?" 100%,
yeah. Right?
It's a deterrent as much as it is anything else.
Exactly. Great angle. Now, but on the other side of that, like, because there's, I've looked into this like fairly deeply. Is don't want to get super political, but and I'll keep opinion kind of out of it, but.
This is a garage chat.
What Israel has been doing for a long time, this is before even like the war on Gaza and everything like that. What they have been doing at some of these checkpoints is they have unmanned guns that have cameras on them that use AI technology and that have straight up murked people.
Yeah.
That are killing people, right? And so there's two sides of it. I think, that military application of that technology, really interesting from a scientific standpoint, right? From an ethical standpoint, pretty fucking horrific, right? Like, we were all, hopefully when we even saw, like, under George Bush or Obama, like what they were doing with drones, right? Which was all the rudiment, the building blocks to where we are now with this technology. Taking the human element from the person pulling the trigger away, it gamifies everything, right?
You no longer die a warrior's death.
No.
At least, so that's like a thing. Like, politics aside, thoughts on war aside, man, war exists. And I feel like the least thing a warrior can do, or the least they deserve, is to like die at the hand of another warrior.
And you're not even
if they're, God forbid, they're gonna die.
And if you're not even, if you're the one, quote unquote, pulling the trigger, you're not even killing someone. You're pressing a button on a controller 10,000 miles away, looking at it. In Arkansas, looking at a computer screen now, right? Like, and then driving home to your family, right? And so, like, that's a whole other thing. But the being able to, okay, I can use mathematics to make a prediction as to where someone is behind a wall. Yeah, that technology is really kind of interesting and cool.
The video was sick, man. He
I'm sure
he walked
it's
to the
really
left, he checked up, walked back to the right, and then went back to the left, and it caught it. And I don't know. It might have totally been some crazy propaganda.
It's probably a little bit of both, right? All good propaganda has some truth in it, right? Totally. But where I kind of, how do you, like, the question is, like, for wealth management, for example. If I'm killing farmers in Iraq, if I miss 10 of my shots into that wall, but I still get my guy, I don't really give a shit, right? And I'm the U.S. military, and what does 10 shots cost me in terms of my budget? Who gives a shit, right? Okay, wealth management, I'm managing someone's, $10 million. I have a hallucination from the AI that's giving me instructions on how to manage that money, and I cost that client $8 million. That's a much bigger deal, not from a macro global, scale, but from the impact of that mistake from that technology on the process that we're doing. So there's going to be from different applicational layers, that what we call like that confidence interval, and what we can accept in different different applicational layers. Like in wealth management, our confidence interval has to be so high because our clients have money. We cannot fuck up, especially not because we had AI, fuck up for us and we trusted something like that, right? Yeah. Like if I was managing your money and you found out that that's how I was managing your money, you probably wouldn't be very pleased with me. And if you had money, very easy for you to pick up and go across the street, right? Totally. So this is where I think for a lot of positions, right, where that confidence interval is extremely high, we're a long ways off from AI coming in and being the great replacement, right? Now, what worries me is there's a lot of labor. That confidence interval is much lower, right? Biggest employer, biggest profession in the world, by far. What is it? Trucking.
Okay.
By far. And not like by an extremely large margin.
Yeah. Sure.
We know we're not that far away. In fact, we're there with automated trucks. They're just not super commercially viable at this point. Yeah. That's the only reason we don't see them all over the place.
There's automated vehicles all over the States, man. I saw it in Las Vegas. I shit my fucking mind.
Waymo is all over the place, right?
Couldn't believe it. Car drove by me in the parking lot. Nobody was in the fucking car.
And the trucks are coming. They're coming, right? And so what happens when all those jobs go away?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. It's major.
I'm not going to say it.
It's major.
Think
of a bunch of people who'd be out of fucking jobs.
Yeah.
And are those, and I don't want to denigrate that work, because I think in any labor there is pride and I think there's dignity in all labor.
That drives trucks.
Yeah,
not just transport, but like
still right. Like,
and you're an integral part of a much larger system.
Of course,
that
it's
is
the backbone of America.
Supply chain,
that's what they say.
Right?
Yeah.
Again, largest profession in the globe.
Yep.
Not by a small margin. But just knowing those folks, and I know a lot of truckers, salt of the earth kind of people most of the time, hard-working people, but are those generally the people we think that are going to go back to school?
No, sir.
Probably not.
What kind of job retraining do you give Earl, who's 50 years old and has been driving truck from the time he was 19?
Totally, and making a good living, and supporting his family,
doing
and
damn being safe on the road. No tickets. Guy's been a good, clean.
All of a sudden, that guy has no job, and what are the options? He door dashes?
No, not even, because there's fucking.
Because that's going to be replaced, right?
There already is robot deliveries,
so
man.
you go flip burgers in McDonald's? Well, that's going away.
Yeah.
So okay, you go be a greeter in Walmart.
Yeah.
Right? You go be a greeter in Walmart because Walmart knows from game theory that customers like being greeted by a human being, and they like it when it's an old person, and it boosts customer satisfaction, and they pay more and buy more because it's all psychology. It's all just gamified, right? So what worries me is the social unrest. Like, at what point in the scale of our unemployment metric do we get to before X amount of people are just not working because a lot of that labor is being replaced? And at what point do they go, that data center that they just put in town, that's the reason why my electricity bill is also 70% higher than it was last year, or the year before, or the year before, or the year before? I can make a Molotov cocktail. I can, we can fuck shit up, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's kind of what I see is unless we put some guardrails around this shit and kind of veer off the course of where we're heading, like, that's kind of where I see things.
There has to be some measure of larger regulation. And that, like, are you guys familiar with the term Techno-Feudalism?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's essentially what you're describing.
Peter
right?
Thiel's
a
wet dream.
Few people that own very specific technology companies that control large sectors of market activity that essentially are, I'm not going to say promoting, but their success is an active agent in the mass increase of civil unrest due to things like job loss, pricing, electricity bills, support for data centers, otherwise, right? And so, like, I think you're correct in that there's only so much people are willing to take before the king's head's got to roll. And
the scary part is not the kids or the king's head rolling. It's all the shit leading up to that, right? And how many people get hurt or go into poverty or right? We've seen this movie before. It's just going to be on crack cocaine this time because our world is far different, right? Yeah. So, but the fundamental philosophies behind all of this is I love that True Detective season 1, greatest season of television that there's ever been. Time is a flat circle, right? Like, we've been here before, right? It's just things look a little different. Things are a little shinier. We all have computers now, but we've been here before. Like, we know what this looks like, and it's not pretty. It's not going to look good. We've been a little coddled in our lives where we've lived because we're Westerners, and we've grown up in good families with good parents, and we've been sheltered. I think we really understand what the world turns into when these dominoes start to fall. And I think we're watching these dominoes already. These dominoes have been falling for a decade and a half already. So it makes me, that's kind of what keeps me up at night right now is it is the Peter Thiels of the world. And what they really want, which is kind of, you know, if you know the series Alien, it's the future of Alien, right? It's 6 billionaires that have sectioned off the world into their own, like, essentially company locations, which are like large portions of the world that they just own, and you're essentially a slave to that corporation. If, you know, that all leads up to that billionaire. It's the further concentration of wealth into fewer and fewer and fewer hands, and they give us just enough that we don't complain. But I don't think it really ends, like, that's what they want. I don't think it really ends up that way, because I think there is a breaking point that people go, this kind of ain't enough.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of, I'm not happy with the peanuts anymore. You're giving me peanuts. I think we're close to that right now, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know. Venezuela's good example of it, right? Like, where it's like, you know, there's a feeling of a corrupt government where things are being funneled to, again, fewer and fewer people. You know, even the United States right now, where you have, in the past 10 years, the consolidation of wealth to, like, 10 people.
Yeah.
It's like not even it's not even 1%. It's like 0.0000001%, right? Yeah. And
2008 financial crisis was a major switch up. COVID
switch up of it,
was
right?
stage 2 major switch up.
That's really, I think it's COVID that is what really kind of broke the brains of everyone. Mm-hmm. It's what broke the brains of everyone. And, you know, whether you were on the liberal side or the conservative side or whatever, right? Like, it broke everyone's brain. And, like, we're still dealing with and we are going to be dealing with the ramifications of COVID. Whether you believe what happened was right or wrong, or you're somewhere in the middle, like, we're going to be dealing with the ramifications of that for decades upon decades upon decades, because it was a real watershed moment. But again, this is kind of where I go, like, this consolidation of wealth, like, you know, I even look at it myself, right? Like, I make decent money, you know, I make pretty good money, and I go, like, the kind of social contract was, like, growing up, that you get a good job, you make 6 figures, and you're made.
Yeah.
And you're not supposed to worry about money after that. Like, you know, maybe you're not going to be rich, but your life should be comfortable.
You're set. Yeah,
you should
can support your
set.
family, put your kids through university.
You should be able to buy a house.
Yeah.
You know?
Go on a vacation every year with the family.
You know, the average new homeowner in the United States is right now, the age of the average new homeowner.
I think it's like they're in their 40s, right?
59.
Holy fuck.
For a new homeowner. First time new homeowner. 59 years old. It's not sustainable. The social contract's been broken, right? You know, and you can point the blame, and you should point the blame in a million different ways. You know, you can point the blame at universities who kind of sold us a bill of goods that said, come here, go into debt, you know, 40, 50, 60, 6 figures of debt.
Yeah.
You know, but if you do that, you'll get a good job afterwards, and you'll be on easy street after that, right? That was the promise. That's what they sold us, right? It turns out that's not really what the reality was, or it was for a long time, and then it wasn't. You know, you can point the finger at, you know, boomers to an extent, who kind of sold out our futures so that they could have the jet ski, and they could have the second home, and they could keep interest rates artificially low for as long as they did, you know, and they could have more and more because they were like, who cares about the future? We deserve more, right? And now we are the generation, we're like one of the first generations, I think Gen X might be actually the first, that are statistically in a worse position financially than where our parents were.
Yep.
Right? It's a little tragic when you think about that. And again, I kind of think about that and I go, how sustainable is that in the long run?
100%, man. And that's, like, I think a question a lot of people are dealing with right now, and a reality that a lot of people are dealing with right now. And I think you're right. I don't think there's an easy answer, because the more you learn about it, the more you realize that it is this leviathan that has just been growing quietly, and now it seems like more and more people are kind of becoming aware of, like you say, the tarnishing of that social contract. I think the only way out is like humanity, you know? Like it's the only way out, and I think that we're being pressed in ways that we haven't experienced before. Certainly not with the technology gap that we've experienced before. However, I think that this is a good way to bridge into kind of what I wanted to talk about, because I have another kind of like, we hit some fucking awesome deep notes, boys, with like the hardness and going into the murk, and I have a little bit more murk to add, but then I have kind of a hopeful spin on this that I want to get into. So like, here's the little bit more murk, okay? AI arms race. We talked about the military thing, right?
Palantir.
So this is, yeah. So if you don't know about Palantir, look into it. They're in everything. Everything. You think that they're not watching you, brother? You're going to be watched if you're not yet. But side thing, AI arms race, right? Boston Dynamics.
Yep.
Okay. Everybody remembers the video like 8 years ago of like the dog.
The robot dog.
The robot dog
Yeah.
that's being pushed and it's walking around and you're like, oh my God, the robot. And I think this is a really good example to show how sentiment has changed over implementation of technology. And this is ultimately going to lead to a conversation around technology in general, right? And how it influences us. Everybody saw that video of the dog and they're like, oh, that's so fucking cool. Like, what? Like, this thing, it's walking around. They're to be like, oh, yeah, like, you know, this is our dog that we envision helping out with search and rescue, and it can go into burning buildings.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, all this potential for good for humanity is, like, bottled into this. And so time goes on. More money pours into this company. More interest pours into this company. And now it's like,
It's got a fucking flamethrower on its back.
man, it's like, so we liked what you did with the dog. How close are we to a human that can carry a gun
Yeah.
and do that, right? And so every country now is in this arms race for the first feasible, battle-ready drone soldier, okay? And arguably, we already have that in some capacity with, like you mentioned, the guns at the checkpoints in Israel that just have essentially a camera, and they can be like green light, red light. You get the red light,
Boom.
you're now mist on the sand.
Yeah.
You know?
That little robot that they'd send in to cut the wires on the bombs was like the precursor to the dog now. I don't know if you've seen the updated
Yeah,
dog.
yeah.
This dog has like guns popping up out of its fucking back like fucking bee wings, man, that he can pipe off, dude, and shit that comes out as like flamethrowers, and it can walk in and just black boys.
Absolutely blast out a whole, like, you know?
Yeah, that
you
friendly
wanna
a
dog
whole
just-
building,
yeah,
man,
that
just
friendly
roams
dog
in.
has turned into a like full blown.
Think about what like countries like, you know, Iran or poor countries or terrorist groups are doing, not can do, are doing by putting a bomb on a drone.
Yeah, man.
You know, pretty easy. And you know what? Now, pretty cheap.
Yeah.
You can do that very cheaply.
Fly this thing in low alti. You're just like, what's that thing like 200 feet up? And all of a sudden and this entire building you were in is now just rubble.
You've got a robot dog. Can you put a tactical nuke on that thing?
Well, let's talk about the arms race. Like you were just talking about with like poor countries, exactly like you're saying now. Is the arms race like what we've been seeing and what we've been sold in all the fucking American action movies of like these poor countries trying to get their hands on like nuclear warheads? Based, if that's, like you said, everything's based on a little bit of reality, you know, right? So it's like, imagine now you have all these fucked up countries like Iran with a crazy dictator that's getting revolted against, you know, not a lot of money for warheads, you know, but maybe we could capture, you know, one of these students who's good at AI, and they could build us like one of these machines that's not traceable, that can just like, we can just like drive a truck into a town square and like open the gate, drive off, and turn this thing on, and it'll just kill 300 people with precision we've never seen in our lives before, man. And like, it's way easier and way less sophisticated than transporting a fucking bomb.
There's no human element to
like
it.
You,
you
like
have to
you
worry
said,
about.
what was that? Like what you said, the like the trust rate.
Oh, confidence interval, yeah.
Confidence interval on like driving a fucking dirty bomb into a city, or just dropping off like a little robot dog.
That's what I mean. Like,
You know, like-
the FBI, like, okay, yeah, you can track a human being. Okay, they're pretty sophisticated when it comes to that, right? Now you've got a robot dog with a tactical nuke, just strapped to it, right? Yeah. And
it's inside of it. It's not even strapped to it.
Yeah.
And its cute belly. And this
Totally.
thing just walks its way in, and everyone's like, oh my god, look at the fucking robot dog.
it's
look
pretty
at the
horrific, you know? Like,
oh, look at the robot, guys.
So here's here's what I'm getting with it, right? So like everybody's in the arms race to have the first automated soldiers, right? Take humans out of the equation. We no longer need bodies landing on the beach, rolling in. We fucking drop this thing from like, you know, a stealth fighter drops this thing into a pod. Boom!
Yeah, we can
blasts in. This thing
drop
just
it from 20,000 feet because it can take fucking
Yeah.
flak rounds.
Yeah.
And our infantrymen can't from parachutes.
and then it's there. It's rolling in, right? So you have this autonomous drone. Let's say it's AI controlled, right? It has these algorithms where it's like, boom, targeting algorithms.
Yeah, you set your GPS and objective and say, walk there, you kill anything that's fucking not.
That's it.
Not marked with your beacon.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So let's run this hypothetical situation out, right? That I'm sure, without definitive proof, almost every country with a military power presence in the world is working towards.
or they have already.
Or have already in secret, right? So what's the natural deterrent to that? An anti-AI infrastructure. So if you have an AI-controlled soldier, how do you combat that? You shoot it with bullets, like you say. This thing can
What
take
does
a
AI
fucking
operate
flak
on?
round.
Does AI need internet?
AI
It
needs
needs a
data
data
centers, and so then you have these people where it's
What
like,
would the EMP
oh,
do to that?
Wouldn't
okay,
be good.
this is where I'm getting with that. Oh, your military force now has the best AI drone soldiers. Well, I have the best AI drone hacking interfaces.
Yeah.
So, as soon as your drone gets within this range of this tower that I have, done.
Dead.
Or I turn it on you.
Yeah, and
it's
then
like
the United States in 40 minutes comes in, wipes out every single tower, captures your president, and is bouncing under the fucking veil of darkness, and no one even knows what's up.
But here's the thing. We're looking at that from kind of today's relative power
Yeah,
structure.
you're right.
What we're talking about now is like, what is this all leading towards with this future of warfare?
Yeah.
And so if you have very sophisticated AI, essentially drone soldiers, the natural deterrent to that is a very sophisticated AI defense system. And so whether that's, this data center in Iowa is powering 200 of these units that are all coming into our beach, well, our program is now launching a dedicated attack that's going to overheat and cook every server in there, right? And so it's like, as the AI arms race escalates, the AI arms race deterrents escalate. And so it gets to this point where, in my mind, I was having a conversation with a friend about this, it all comes back to nukes. So, Hiroshima, right? Nagasaki. Boom! They dropped it. First time in the world where we were like, we've made something with the potential to end humanity.
Yeah, 2 largest war crimes ever committed.
And now now every nation's like, yeah, we got them. Or if we don't have them, we can get them. We know who has them, right?
Quantity quality thing.
And so it's like, I see the future of this AI arms race much like I do nukes, where it's like the cost of engaging with an opponent on those terms is potential eradication.
Yeah, it's mutually assured destruction.
And so
it's mad,
if
brother. It's mad.
if everybody has crazy AI soldiers, the same way now that everybody has nukes,
They're not effective.
it's a deterrent.
Yeah.
Just having that is a deterrent.
Yeah.
And so I think in a capacity, we have to look at that as long as human nature and human consciousness is the one holding the finger over the button with the yay or nay, I think there's still hope for us.
What do you think North Korea's AI state looks like right now?
Man, probably nothing great. Honest.
I don't know.
I-
Because the technology,
what do you think?
the technology now, especially like we are incredibly propagandized in the West.
Yeah.
We like to think we aren't. We are incredibly propagandized in the West. And this technology isn't that complicated to now just put a wrapper over.
What do you mean? Try to say there's someone better than us?
China.
Bro, they got all the rare earth metals, man.
I wish I could agree with you, but like
You ever been to China?
I struggle on a daily basis to not see how China is the one that is gonna win all of this.
I've never been to China either.
They had their ability to do central planning. Now, take the ethical considerations away, right? Like, we're not gonna have the ethical considerations around it, but we're just gonna say like, who's setting themselves up to win the future, right?
Oh, bro, long game.
It's China.
Quick thing, yeah. I was just saying some dumb shit.
Yeah,
but fuck China. But sidebar. Did you know? Fact, Googleable fact. 1 in 3 people on Earth speak Mandarin.
Yeah.
It is the fastest growing language in the world. If you don't know Mandarin in the next 20 years, you are not going to be able to sit at the fucking table with the guys this might not apply to you, but like, you're not going to be able to sit at the table with like the people that you might want to sit at the table with.
You want to see something really interesting? I can't remember the name of the exact bridge. They put up a major bridge in a day. That's what China can do. The United States can't do that because they don't have central planning. Mm-hmm. And again, you can talk about the efficacy of central planning and how moral, quote unquote, it is. But that is the difference. It's the difference between China, who allows... They're not communist. They are communist in name, but
they're like communist
structure.
Capitalists. Yeah.
But what they do is where companies can tell the United States government what to basically do because they can buy their politicians. It's the inverse in China. China tells the companies what to do, meaning they get to centrally plan how the technology is implemented and what they do. They've also played the AI game way smarter than the United States did. They did the inverse of what the United States did with the early internet. Where the early internet in the United States, they played it really smart. It was all open sourced. They allowed people access to the information, and we were like, hey, innovate. AI in the United States isn't that way anymore. But in China, with AI and companies like DeepSeek or what have you, who are the reasons why we're seeing all this disruption and the arms race with these American AI companies, they've gone with an open source formatting for that technology. They are going to be light years ahead of us. They arguably already are. We're seeing the United States, and I use us kind of as a proxy as the United States. We're trying to go back to this idea of bringing manufacturing back to the West, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
China doesn't need to do that. They already have all of that there. They already have all of the processing of the rare metals, which is not easy to just replicate in the West, right? They have all the refineries there. They already have it all set up to win the future. I just don't,
Yeah. Central banks are starting to buy yuan as their like fiat currency.
What happens at a certain point? This is my biggest fear for like geopolitics of the world right now. What happens when the global trading world says, I've had enough with the United States because they are acting erratically? Say what you will about the politics, right? But they're acting erratically and it's affecting global capital. And if we care about one thing as human beings, we care about global capital. We care. We're greedy. We're a greedy species. All the rest of the world needs to do. They fuck the United States. into oblivion financially is just say the US dollar is not the global trading currency anymore. It's the euro.
So I agree with everything you're saying, and I'm just going to play devil's advocate here. I agree. So I'm saying, but if we are sitting at a point where the U.S. is being, I don't want to say scapegoated, but essentially being scapegoated, many countries are turning on them, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Acting erratically is like a rational behavior, in my opinion. To try and like, we need to claw this back right now. Like, I think the thing is that like, let's take a look at Trump here, right? Like, I'm going to try and take a full unbiased opinion here. We'll take away like current situations in the U.S. Like we're full like, which is fucked. There's so much fucked shit going on down there right now. Just strictly dollar signs here, right?
Yeah.
Now. So, if I'm not mistaken, this is all super like Googleable as well, and like I'm fuck again. Like, this is such a touchy topic for anyone listening. Holy fuck, don't roast.
We're in the danger zone.
But this is how these conversations need to happen, man. People need to think about these things to like at least try and grasp what's happening. You know, like we can't all just be like looking at it. So what I look at it is like financially, man. If I'm not mistaken, Trump left office, Biden came back in. In that 4 years Biden was in, the Saudis tried to dump the U.S. barrels. They didn't want to go as the U.S. barrel. I don't know how that all works, but I'm pretty sure...
In oil trading?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Saudi used the U.S. barrel as like their reference, and that's like the global reference for oil pricing, right?
OPEC's been doing that for a long time, but yeah.
Okay, right. So I don't exactly know how all that works, but I remember the Saudis were threatening to pull that. They were like, fuck, you know, you guys aren't doing so hot, and their dollar, I was actually just chatting with Dill about that today, the dollar value between the presidencies right now, between Biden and Trump's presidency, and it's like, man, they were not doing so hot, man. There was a point where they were like $1.26 over us, and like they just left $1.51 with Trump's first term, so like it was a huge jump, man. 25 cents worth of value currency. That's why the Saudis were like, we're gonna fucking pull this kind of thing. Trump got reelected, the barrel stayed. My thoughts are, is like, so there's still some confidence in it, right? Because like I know the Saudis and China and Russia are fucking, like big time fucking, but the Saudis will fuck anyone, in my opinion, like in the best way, man. Like they're doing shit, they're balling, man. Like no shade except for them killing the fucking reporter. That was crazy, and probably a bunch of other shit.
A lot of other shit.
Yeah, you know, but like, as far as we're just talking about money, economy, etc., they're balling. Like holy fuck, great stuff. So I look at the states, man, and it's like all these like you know, Trump got reelected and was like, wow, this country's in a shit state. China is just beating us. They have all this central building. They have like all their central planning. Like, man, I felt like things I've read. I remember reading something about Trump doing the like pipelines and steel factories or something, or bringing the car factories back to Michigan and all that shit. And he's just like, he's trying to override bills and like timber exporting and mineral exportation. He's just like signing bills at the start of his second term being like, nope, fuck it. Like it goes to like the top. There's none of this minimal shit anymore, and like business lobbying or whatever. He like reversed something. I wish I had more that I could give so that it was actually like more chill. Essentially, it was him just being like, fuck the environment. On paper, it was him being like, fuck the environment. Like, you guys want to fucking go nuts? Like, tell me we can make it happen. Like, dig, and let's fucking get some
drill,
shit
baby,
done,
drill,
right?
yeah.
So it's like, I look at that. That's kind of just like, that is like central planning, you know? And like, I wonder, here's my other thing too. Like, it's trying to be. And I think that China got to like, China is what it is, man. Like, it is the China Communist Party or Communist Party of China or CCP. And it's like, man, like very socialist. Government controls the businesses. That's exactly what Mamdani's trying to do in New York. I don't think he's gonna do it on a lesser scale, in my opinion. Like after reading what he's doing, I don't think it's gonna be terrible. I don't think he's gonna fucking burn New York to the ground. No. If anything, a lot of people that are in trouble are gonna get some fucking help. I think it's gonna all be over in 4 to 12 years, and like it's gonna run as like a decent pilot and maybe spark something. You know, but I don't think it's gonna last. But I think it's a good idea. City too big.
So
it's the size of a country, and it's never worked. And so it's like, here's the
problem with a bunch of those things. So
yeah, hit me.
The first thing is, and I'll kind of touch on the last thing that you said.
And ending it with he's acting super erratically to claw back these dollars, in my opinion, right?
I won't even get into even when I talk erratically, like starting a trade war with the entire world. That's what I say.
That's what I was meaning. It was
right?
erratic, right? He's cutting things off with Carney, but then internally he's like, but now we're going to build our own pipelines. We're going to do this, and then he invades Venezuela.
You have at most another 3 years of Trump.
Right.
At most, right?
Yep.
Do you know how long it takes to build those factories?
So long, bro.
5, 10.
I so agree. But if it was China, how long would it take them?
Yeah, but China, their leader isn't going to change in 3 years.
I know, because he's a...
I wouldn't call it. It's not a dictator, but it is definitely a different political system.
For sure. Yeah.
Again, taking the morality of the argument away from 100%. It, and I'm doing that with Trump too.
Yeah. And Trump's also trying to make sure his term isn't ending in another 3 years.
Much harder to do in the United States than it is in China, right?
Agree.
So, and again, there's moral arguments on both sides.
So this is where I just want to take the quick time out and be like, nor am I agreeing with it, nor is it by the Western standard. Mm-hmm. I think that Trump, I think he's a fucking dog. He's fucked. He does some fucked shit, man. I think he's hilarious. He says some super fucking dumb shit that I just think is great, that I would hate for my kids to see on TV. Oh my god. But, hilarious, boy's boy, terrible. I think he's a dog, realizes there's no other people that are going to try and compete with China, and U.S. is going to fall. If they don't turn into this, I'm going to stay for 12 years, I'm going to rewrite all of this fucking shit so that we can get on the same page as China, because we have the manpower, we have the industry, we just don't have the commitment or the Western standard.
He's historically the most hated president now that there's ever been.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. We're taking morality, we're taking feelings away, and I'm not saying what he's doing is right, but it is that the only way to compete with China is what I'm asking.
You gotta, the headwinds. I'm sure Trump wants to do all of that, right?
Right. I guess that's not really my question, is if he wants to or if we can. Is that the only way to compete with China? I guess is where my question wound up.
No, you do what... You
if you can't beat him, join him, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you kind of... Because, what China and the Chinese care about is not global trade war. Right. They want to go along to get along because that's good for everyone, specifically them, totally. Right? They go...
Imperialism would be a good way to describe it.
Sure.
They're good. They want to be sent. They're building their empire.
Two different brands of imperialism is maybe a way to put it, right?
Okay.
So, that's why, say what you will about the global liberal order, right?
Right.
But the global liberal order, what they understood was, let's go along to get along with China. We'll kind of say we don't like them, but we'll work with them. And they might win in some areas and we win in other areas. But on balance, we all kind of rise, or at least the elites rise.
The status quo remains unchanged.
Enough of us will rise with them that we can
exactly kind of the story of post-World War II
Axis powers
reform, right? It is that, right? It's and we'll fight proxy wars through proxies in these other countries, right?
Because we all have nukes, and if we officially say we're going to do this, we can't fight each other.
We can use proxies to fight each other, and we can have intellectual and proxy trade wars as well, using companies like Huawei, or using, it is not as though there isn't conflict, right? But in the grand scheme of things, it's a kind of go along to get along, because at least us at the top, we all kind of get richer, and we don't upset the apple cart too much for the people down below either. It's really interesting. You want to see some really interesting stuff? Look at the prosperity for the average Chinese person that's happened over the last couple decades. Pretty significant. They have actually a middle class in China now. It's pretty incredible, actually. And so, if you're the U.S., in my opinion, it's two options. It's managed decline, which is the neoliberal option,
right,
or it's imperialist anarchy.
Take an aggressive front.
And that is, in my opinion, not an unwinnable thing, but a much bigger gamble. Yeah. And I don't see, and I won't pretend like I know everything. I've been wrong on a lot of this stuff before, but bringing manufacturing back to the United States on one hand, and then when he did that, you know how many manufacturing jobs they've lost in the United States since making those moves? Hundreds of thousands.
Couldn't stick,
it doesn't work. Yeah. It didn't work.
There's a reason that it left.
You're saying on one hand, we want to build factories and have manufacturing in the United States, and then on the other hand, you're saying, and we want robots and AI to be doing all of this work in these factories. It doesn't make sense, right? Mm-hmm. When you look at the fact that and it's something a lot of people misread about just economics in general. And this is not just in Trump, this is of any political regime. I feel like a lot of people get like on Trump and it's like, and it's like, whoa, these are much larger. Like when talking about
case study,
he's a great case study, right? Because he's upset the apple cart. But the stock market, people think about the stock market and they say that's the economy. No, no, it's not. The average person does not own stock. Period.
100%.
The average person, they are not stockholders, right? And so a lot of kind of the people in the West, in Canada too, they go, well, the stock market's doing great. And it is. Our clients are really happy. Does any of us think that the economic fundamentals on the ground in either of these countries right now are positive? Do you think job prospects are good right now?
Absolutely not.
No,
sir.
No. When, like I said earlier, the average age of your new homeowner is 59.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is a problem.
That's a major problem.
And so the only thing that's kind of holding up everything right now is your top 0.01%. Like when you dive into the economic numbers, one of the other things they pull out is like, well, consumer spending is actually pretty good. When you dive one layer deeper and you understand who is doing that consumer spending, it is extremely wealthy people who are much, much richer under what's happened with Donald Trump, right? And they are. Mm-hmm. They are much, much richer right now. They are spending a crazy amount of money. But your average person, go to the grocery store, fuck. Yeah.
Highway robbery, man.
It's brutal out there. It's 100%. Brutal. And even I kind of went back and I was like, that social contract of me making six figures and thinking I'm a made man, and now I'm going like, I feel poorer now than when I was making 60 grand. Yeah, I feel poorer now because my dollar goes so much shorter. Yeah. And that's the average person's lived experience. So it's that we always need to divorce the stock market from the actual economy, because they're two completely separate things. And it's never been more clear than right now that these are two completely separate things.
I hate to divorce you from the train of thought that you're on right now, but I asked that question. I really want to chat about it just because I've never thought about that before. And I know for a fact that right now Trump maybe not on the path to compete with China. I know for a fact that the last Democratic government was also not.
No, at 100%.
So we're taking it completely aside, and we're not geopolitical analysts nor fucking defensive strategists by any means.
No, we're not the decision makers in the room.
I'd like to hear all of our how does the West, quote unquote, compete with China for the top spot over the next 15 years?
If we consider the West, are you considering the West to be like Canada and
Canada, US, UK, Like
Okay.
we kind
The
of
global West.
like
Okay,
the global West.
sure.
Yeah.
I think, and this might be a far-reaching
So I feel like we're all
perspective.
facing the same perspectives. The global West, or
Yeah.
not perspective.
Gotta
problems.
acknowledge everything Henry
Global West
said
same
about
problems.
the change in wealth disparity, and really, I think we could classify that in a bubble as saying the erosion of the middle class.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not just a Trump phenomenon. Again,
No.
this has been happening for a long time.
If you know about the wealth dynamics that happened during the 2008 financial crisis, if you know about how COVID impacted things, in a very shortened, simplified version before I get to my point, it went like this. People are going to work, okay? Government prints a bunch of money, gives it to people to spend because people aren't going to work. Where do people spend those money? Where does that money go? Okay, it goes into the lifestyle support of these people, the place they're buying groceries, the businesses they're buying from, and otherwise. Okay, who owns those businesses? Wealthy people.
The
So
rent.
the government
People own a second.
gave money, printed a bunch of money. That money very quickly through consumer interaction changed hands from the people on the bottom to the people on the top. The people on the top then used that revenue to purchase more assets, i.e. property, i.e. businesses. That then pushed up the cost of those goods for the people on the bottom who are, again, not working, not spending money. The rich people also aren't spending money, but they're making money. And so you now have this, again, this bubble that gets created relative to the cost structure where people were priced out by regulation, you know? And so this is a consideration, and this has been felt not only in North America, it's been felt in Europe. Every developed country in the world had a slightly different but much more common response to COVID, okay? Which was give money to the people, keep shit moving, everything goes back to normal once this is done. But that wasn't the reality. The reality is that wealth focalization happened from the lower to the higher at an unprecedented rate. And the impact of that is affecting everywhere, I'd argue, in the Western world, okay? That's the perspective I'll take. So if we acknowledge that, we accept that reality, going back to the question you posed on how can the West hope to compete with a giant population, a rapidly technologically advanced population, and a population that has an incredible social agenda relative to centralized planning, like you said, essentially dictation. They don't have free markets. They have like the inverse of that, where it's an ultra controlled market, right? Where everything is being filtered and controlled, and that's its own conversation for its own day. How do we combat it? Radical teamwork. And I don't even think when we say combat it, it's a measure of like the West wins, China drops. I think Henry really put it saliently before when he was talking how these countries understand the status quo and they go along to get along. You look at, I'll break it down to competitive advantage. China has things it does really fucking well. Most countries in the world have one or two things that they do really fucking well because of the topography, because of the population, because of the education or technological structure. We focus on that. And we say, you guys do this great. We're going to remove barriers to you doing that great. And we do that globally. So this idea of this nationalist agenda and every nationalist agenda of all major nations being at war with one another has to in some way come to a table and say, we're creating obstacles to our own betterment by focusing on things through this lens. That's my answer to how we beat it. We get way the fuck better at working together.
And that was like, that's what we were doing for really, you know, that if we talk about kind of the post-World War II Reformation, it was largely based on like primarily US-led globalization of the economy, right? Like when people talk about globalization, that's what they're talking about, right? They're talking about, okay, we are going to make a global economy where now a lot of what we know as globalization was us essentially Western countries pilfering and pillaging poor countries of all of their resources and wealth, consolidating it to us and then sending them shit, you know, like they like
giving them a government.
We you know, it wasn't so good, but in theory, right, like you know, that was you know, a predatory form of globalization, but in theory, right, like this is what the people who think of globalization and are proponents of globalization, this is what they want. They want to say, okay, you in Denmark are really good at making shoes, for example, right? So why are we going to have in Canada a bunch of freaking shoe factories? We're really good at making wrenches. So we're going to have a bunch of wrench factories here. You're going to have a bunch of shoe factories there. We're going to have a trade agreement between our two countries, you know, that says, hey, you're going to sell us shoes. We'll sell you wrenches. You know, everybody wins. You know, that's the right down to as simple as we can make global economics and you know, the global economy. It gets really complicated because you get a lot of interests and business interests involved and governmental interests involved, and there is a lot of exploitation of poorer countries involved in it, right? And it's hard to get away from that. But, you know, if we're trying to think like, how do we compete against China? Maybe one of the questions we also need to ask ourselves is, why are we competing against China? Why, like, you know...
That's what Uncle Sam wants.
Well, yeah, but and why?
Why are you asking?
You know, like,
Sam wants.
and not to paint myself as a, you know, a red commie or whatever, but like, 100%. You know, that I think is the interesting question we kind of should be asking ourselves. And there's a lot of very legitimate reasons. They brutalize a group of Muslim people called the Uyghurs in China. Wow. US has a pretty track record of doing that too, but
their lower classes' life is dismal.
It is, but have you seen homeless people in East Hastings? It doesn't look so good either.
Oregon?
Exactly.
Yeah, so you know,
it's not an isolated event.
100%.
Yeah.
So you know, it's
that's that propaganda on the West.
For
us being like, yeah, fuck, they're low class as shit.
Yeah,
our low class is shit, bro.
You go for a walk down Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia, man, and see like 65 dead bodies like on a single block.
Pretty
like,
rough, right?
Dude, like that's gnarly.
There are a lot of places in China you walk down the street now and you're like, this is kind of nice, you know, like you know. So
they're
you know,
in the future, man. I saw a video of one of their cities and like, oh my god, bro,
it's pretty incredible. And
but I also did the math the other day, man, and for population wise and for per square kilometer wise, okay, and I did the math and like this house right here for square kilometer land, whatever, I fucking looked it up, found out the number. I was like, how big for this many square foot house fucking on a piece of land in an average city of around 100,000 people in China.
Yeah.
How many people would that hold? It was like 38 people would live in that same square that this house is put on, that me and 2 other people live in.
Totally. Now,
so it's like, oh my god, this house would be an apartment building.
Math also changes even if we, you know, interesting to...
So many variables.
And even if you, like, if you were to do that same math on the United States, right? Because we in Canada, we have a bit of we're in a bit of an odd place in the world because we have so much land.
Yeah.
And there's not that many people
and like
in the grand scheme of things,
50% of it or more is uninhabited.
Dude, it's something like over 70%.
Totally, but good, you know, definitely a good point, right? Like, and so for the and this is where I think things get really interesting is. And why we need to be skeptical of like all sides of what they're kind of telling us and what we read in the West and what we see coming out of the East as well, the global East, right? And we need to kind of be skeptical of it all, right? It's not our game that's being played. It fundamentally isn't. We get impacted by it all, but it's not our game. It's not a game for our benefit.
On the individual level, or just in general?
From the top down.
Yeah,
It's not our game, right? Like they aren't they might be good at bullshitting us, right? You know, whether you're Xi Jinping bullshitting the Chinese people or whether you're Trump bullshitting the American people. Yeah. They're both really good at being, oh, we're doing this for you. They're not. Yeah. Neither side.
Same thing with Pierre. Fucking, you know, common sense. They're fucking so good at just uniting fucking people.
100%.
On some bullshit.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's not our game. It's fundamentally not our game. We're not considered. We're not even considered in that game. Yeah. We aren't. We're variables on a spreadsheet when it comes to that kind of a game. And not high considerable variables either, unfortunately, right? And so where I think like we in the West and probably in the East too, just we as humanity, like we need to find ways, the way out on an individual level that we can impact is to build community amongst ourselves.
Right.
It's to build community amongst ourselves, to find ways that we can rely amongst ourselves, to go to the freaking farmer's market and buy, you know, produce from your local farmers who are selling it at the farmer's market instead of Loblaws where it's going to that billionaire family.
In his fucking pockets, you know?
100%, right? It is...
Well, Jimmy Pat, that guy's BC legend, but also scumbag.
You know, like, price fixing on a lot of bread, right? You know, like, it's... So those are, I think, you know, to take it way from the macro lens that we've been talking about and, you know, to funnel it right down to the micro lens, because we can't impact the macro. We can vote, but I'm a proponent of voting. You should fucking vote. But
you should definitely vote.
You should definitely fucking vote. It's the only thing we can do, but let's be real. It doesn't, our individual vote doesn't really impact the global game that's being played. It just doesn't. Not on an individual level. Now, it doesn't mean you shouldn't vote. You should vote. But what we can do, what we can control on an individual level is the communities that we make. It's the people we interact with. It is
where you choose to spend your money.
Where you choose to spend your goddamn money, right? You know, and if we can focus more on that, we'll be far better off regardless of what happens up there. That's kind of the nice part about, you know, focusing on community in the micro. Doesn't kind of matter what happens at the macro.
You can disconnect.
We're playing two totally different games.
Two different games, right? Happening at the same time, and we're impacted. We're impacted by that game. Don't get me wrong, but we can build that community amongst ourselves, and we're just going to be better off. Doesn't matter what happens up there. We'll still be in a better position than if we didn't.
Build community.
Build community. You're not immune to propaganda.
Disconnect yourself from the macro.
Get back on RuneScape.
Get back on
RuneScape.
Download RuneScape. Get the JagX launcher. Get back on RuneScape 06. Old school 07. Old school RuneScape. The game, the adventure awaits.
Absolutely.
Disconnect yourself from the macro.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it coming out, Henry.
Thanks, boys. It's been great.